Yeah, I'm going to take a little ride up into the old neighborhood where I used to live many, many years ago. This bike path that we're on right now used to be a pair of tracks. Sounds like the wind is pretty strong, so I don't know how well you can hear me. But right across there, where that like prairie land is, right over there, and all the way along here, you know, this used to be actually a train depot. You know, they had buildings, and they had, we used to come here as kids. We used to play in the buildings. You know, they had like old insulators, you know. They had purple, blue, all sorts of colored insulators that they used to use on the poles and stuff around here. And trains would stop actually and get filled up with grain on occasion. I think that was before my time, but the stuff was still here. You know, the machinery was still here to do that. Now I'm going to go off to the right here, and go up my old street. Go down memory lane a little bit. Sure, it's all changed. All these houses that are on the right were brand new. I mean, they were being built when I was a youngin'. In fact, I used to play in the basement right there to the one on the right. Used to have some real close friends, you know, that lived right down in that house off to the right there. So, yeah. There must be redoing that house. That house is very old. It was old even when I was here, but it looks like they're renovating it a little bit, which is pretty cool. Unless it burnt down and they're just redoing it. I don't know, but it looks like it's new siding on there. Looks like new windows. So yeah, I think it was like probably 60 or 70 years old when I was a child. So you know it's got to be old. All these houses on the not on the right. The ones on the right were being built when I was here, but the ones on the left, all of them were here when I was a child. Every one of them. Some of them pretty old. I used to live to the right there, where that flag is. Used to live there. It was a trailer, just an old double-wide trailer then. Definitely not anymore. It's a nice house there now. This place looks so small. It was so big when I was a youngin'. This is what we call the slag pile. I'm not going to go in there because it'd be trespassing on private property, but we used to go in there. There was a big old dump there. They used to, people used to hold washers and dryers. Boy, that was a playground for us, man. We really loved it. There was a big old sand pile right in the gates too. And I mean, it was tall. It was about probably 30 feet tall, you know, the sand pile was. And there's still rocks here, you know, but the rocks were, you know, the piles were a lot smaller than the sand, but boy, we had a good time here. I'm going to go to, I think now, it's a museum now, but it used to be, at one time it was even called Teen Town, where it was kind of a gathering for teens. You know, they had music and they would dance and they had bands. That was back in the good old days, when everyone was fairly safe. There was like fences that were probably a fence about 6-7 feet tall right here. Used to cover this whole place. Before it was Teen Town, it was an old school, and at the same time, I believe it was the police station. You know, I mean, I never went there, but I was a big kid. Right here, there used to be, where that brick building is, there used to be a fire escape there. You know, they've covered it with brick now. I mean, it was one of those old ones that you slide down. It was completely tin, it was shiny tin, and we'd climb up to the top and go on down. We did a lot of dangerous stuff when we were kids, but we was tough back then. We weren't like the kids are today. If you want to see a little bit about the whole town here. Yeah, I guess the trains, most likely, you know, before my family moved here, they most likely had coal trains that would go through, and that was a depot for them, probably down at the end of my street. But yeah, this was a really neat place to grow up at. This is the Glen Carbon Heritage Museum right here. Like I said, it was a school at one time. I think it was a police station. It was Teen Town. It's a museum now. In fact, this street that I'm on is called School Street. And the real school, I mean, that we went to is actually one street over. I think it's on Burger Avenue or something like that. It isn't even called School Street. And that right there is the old village hall. I think it was a church at one time. But this has always been kind of a mysterious building. You know, it looks like there's a sign over there now that they have. I might go take a look, you know, and show you what the sign says. Yeah, it's a neat building. That's a real bell. I wonder if it still works. I remember when it did work, though. Oh, this was the firehouse. That's right. That's what it was. Get a little bit closer. And pull out my phone and see if you can see that. Okay. Now I can get a little bit closer here. You know, I'll just take the camera out of the holder. There you go. You could pause that, you know, and read a little bit about it. Let me show you what the town looks like from up here at the top of the hill. This used to be just, this hillside right here used to be just covered with brush. Now you can actually see the school way over there through the trees. I think you can. Now, but right down here, this hill right here, we used to have a lot of fun on this hill. We really did. But the brush was really, I mean, there was trees, kind of like over there. There was trees, you know, growing out of the side. So you couldn't see nobody in there on that hill. I mean, it's a tiny bit steep, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, like I said, we were tough kids. We could handle it.